everyone. Happy Wednesday, happy sunny Wednesday. Welcome to yoga. Hopefully it won't crash this evening. I'm sorry about last week, it just went off halfway through. Just checking that it's actually come on. I think it has. I'll just wait a little bit until it stops spinning. If it has come on and you can see me, grab yourselves a cushion or something to sit on. We are going to start seated. Seems to be taking a while. The stream quality didn't look great. It looks a bit blurry. I think it should settle. I'm just going to wait a couple of minutes until I'm confident that it's not going to crash. I think it should be fine. So if it is working for you, welcome to 6:30 p.m. Wednesday night yoga. Grab yourselves a cushion or a pillow to sit on and your blankets that you want to use for your Shavasana. We're going to be working with lots of abs. Well, actually that's a lie. We're going to be working with lots of core work, actually less crunching, so you won't get much of an ab burn. It's more like holding planks and holding a couple of balances, which tests our core strength. If you want to grab a strap or a belt, or you can use a t-shirt, you might not need it. We have got a couple of hamstring stretches to start with. And we're going to have a play around with a binded stretch. It's quite deep in the practice, so it might seem a little bit crazy now, but if you want to have a go at the bind, then it's when you bring both hands behind your back. So if you want to grab a strap to help you kind of pull the arms together, then you're more than welcome to grab something. Don't worry if you've got nothing that you can use. It's not compulsory. It still looks a little bit blurry for me. I'm just going to turn the stream off and then put it back on again. Sorry about that. I'm hoping this looks a bit better. It's just a little bit delayed. Still quite blurry. Okay. So grab yourselves a blanket and a pillow and find yourself a comfortable seat. I'm hoping this looks a little bit better. As I've already said, if you want to grab a strap, you can do, but it's not compulsory. Cool, that looks better. So when you're ready, get yourself into a comfortable seated position. We will get started. So bring yourself into a cross-legged position. We'll just start by taking a couple of stretches. So place the right hand down onto the mat alongside your right leg and just lift the left arm up. From here, extend that left arm all the way over to the right. So you're taking that long stretch down that left side of the body. If this feels okay, then you can start to drop that right forearm down as well, just to intensify that stretch a little bit. But keep making sure that that left sit bone is pressing down to the mat. Reach those left fingertips out long. And then make your way back through to the centre. This time place the left fingertips down onto the mat. Reach the right arm up. Then start to extend that right arm all the way over to the left. So really lengthening down that right side of the body. If you want to, you can drop down a little bit further, coming onto that left forearm. But try not to let that right sit bone peel off the mat. So you're really trying to press the right butt cheek down. Trying to twist that chest open a little bit further, so trying to twist the chest up towards the sky. And then slowly make your way back through to the centre. Keeping the right leg where it is, just start to extend that left leg out to the side. We are going to take a couple of hamstring stretches here, so if you want to grab a strap, you're more than welcome to. Just twist your chest over towards that left thigh. Try and press the back of the left leg down towards the mat. So you're trying to straighten that leg as much as you can. Either, option one, place the hands behind your back and use the fingertips to lift up your chest and push your bum backwards. This is going to start to bring a stretch into that left hamstring. Option no, make it a little bit harder, start to fold forwards over that left leg. Either keeping the hands framing the left thigh, or the hands can come down alongside that left shin, or maybe taking hold of that left foot with the hands, depending on how flexible those hamstrings are feeling. We'll just take a couple of deep breaths, so you should be able to feel this stretch somewhere in the back of that left leg, maybe into the lower back as well. Slowly start to make your way back through to the centre. This time we'll extend the right leg, so keep the left leg where it is and take the right leg out into this straddle position. Use your hands to roll the femur externally, so you're trying to roll the leg backwards, avoiding the temptation of those toes collapsing in. From here, option one, placing the fingertips behind your back, just lifting up your chest, pushing the bum backwards and sending the chest forward. That's going to start to get into those hamstrings. If you want a little bit of a deeper stretch, bring the hands in front of you and then start to walk the hands forward. Maybe bringing the forearms down to the mat, maybe bringing the chest down towards the mat, just depending on how those hamstrings are feeling. You'll probably find that you feel this stretch in a different area than when we did the single side. It's going to get more into the adductors on the inside of the legs. See if you can find your breath here. We've not really got any breath control yet, but just starting to slow the breath down and starting to settle the breath. Start to walk your hands back towards your sit bones. This time keep the right leg where it is and just bend that left foot. So bring that left foot in towards the groin. Twisting yourself over towards that right thigh. Fingertips can either come behind you and then lift the chest up, try and push the bum backwards, or bring the hands to frame the thigh, or hands can frame the shin. Or super flexible hamstrings can catch hold of that right foot, trying to straighten that right leg as much as you can. If it feels tense, then you can always bend that right knee as well. So you'll probably feel some sensation here into that right hamstring, the back of the right leg, maybe into the left lower back as well as you fold forward over that right leg. Try not to tug at this point. We're still warming up, so don't worry if it feels a bit tight. Slowly start to make your way back up to the centre. This time bring both soles of the feet together into our butterfly stretch and try and drive the knees down. So if you feel like the knees are quite high, if the knees are coming up anywhere above the ribs, then walk your feet out a little bit further forwards, and this should allow the knees to drop down. You can either hold onto your shins, your ankles, or you can hold onto the soles of the feet. Trying to lengthen the spine here. We're just tilting forwards from the hips, so trying to push your bum backwards and trying to lift your chest up. This should stretch the adductors again on the inside of the legs, and you probably feel some sensations around the hips. Trying to sit up a little bit taller here. See if you can hinge forwards a tiny bit more, so just really getting into those adductors. And then coming back through to the centre. We'll take one more stretch before we come into our breath practice. So we're going to come into a forward fold, so extend both legs out long. You can stay on your cushion if you're sat on a cushion. You can get rid of it if you don't want to use it. Option one is to place the fingertips behind your back, lift up the chest and try and push your bum backwards. This is already stretching those hamstrings. You can keep the knees bent, or if you know you've got good hamstrings, you can straighten those legs. Option one, stay here. Option two, start to walk forwards a little bit further forwards over those legs. I usually tell you to keep your back straight in this position, but just because we're still warming up, you can allow the spine to round slightly. If you want to, you can catch hold of the feet. Also use your strap if you want to use a strap here. With your exhale, just allowing yourself to sink into those legs a little bit more. So we're not tugging, we're not forcing anything. We're just allowing the body to get used to these stretches, used to these sensations. Slowly start to make your way back to a comfortable seated position. So you can either sit cross legs, you can sit on the knees, or if there's another way that you would rather sit, you're more than welcome. If you would prefer to lay down, then you can do. All we're going to be doing is about 4 minutes of breath practice, so you can sit on a couch if you would like to. Wherever you are, take a full inhale in through the nose, hold it at the top, exhale, sigh it out the mouth. Do that one more time. Full inhale in through the nose. Hold it at the top. Full exhale out through the mouth. You can do that as many more times as you would like to. And just start to close the eyes here. So we'll just use this time to get used to being on the mat, get used to being in the room, get used to being working with our breath, with our bodies. So just start to give yourself a quick body scan, just noticing how you're feeling. Noticing anywhere that feels tight, that feels like it's gripping, and seeing if you can just start to soften into those areas. So loosening the shoulders, letting go of any tightness in the forehead or the jaw. Getting used to your body. If there is anywhere that feels painful, or if you know that you've got an injury, then you can always take a step back from the poses. If anything doesn't feel quite right, just ease out of it a little bit. Just start to notice the breath moving around the body. So you don't need to change anything just yet. Just start to observe the breath moving around the body. So whereabouts you can feel the breath, whether that's in the belly, in the chest, in the throat, in the nose. Any sounds or sensations that come with your breath as well. So maybe you can feel that temperature of the breath as it comes in through the nostrils. Maybe there's that whispering sound as it comes in through the nose. Just starting to notice how the body moves with the breath. So the expansion of the rib cage with the inhales, the shoulders maybe rise and soften. And when you're ready, start to lengthen your breath. So tuning into the deep inhales, maybe holding it at the top. Deep exhales, letting it all come back out of the body. If you don't feel quite ready to deepen or lengthen the breath yet, then you can always wait a couple more rounds, a couple more cycles, and then have a go at lengthening and deepening the breath. Maybe you just stick with lengthening the inhales for now and then come back to the exhales. Maybe just start with the exhales. Just build your way up to a slow rhythm of breath, full inhales, deep exhales. With every exhale, just allowing your body to soften. So really let go of the shoulders. Let the hands and the feet be heavy. Soften in the face. And with your inhale, see if you can start to cultivate your diaphragm breathing. So really breathing into the belly, filling up the belly with air, filling up the chest with air. And then with your exhale, just allowing all that breath to come back out of the body. I'm going to stay here for about 5 cycles of breath. It might be more like 3 or it might be more like 7, just depending on your rhythm of breath. So just find a rhythm that you can stick with. See if you can make these next couple of cycles of breath the longest and deepest rounds. So really filling the belly with air. Really allowing the shoulders to soften, the face to soften. On your next exhale, just start to blink the eyes open. We're going to make our way straight into our downward facing dog. So if you had any props in the way, just pop them to one side. You might need them later, you might want to use them to put underneath your knees when we get through some lunges. So finding your downward facing dog, take a couple of movements in this first one. So just get used to being in this downward dog. Maybe pedaling the leg, walking it out, one foot and then the other leg. Maybe coming up onto the tiptoes, giving the head a little nod, a little shake. If you want to, you can drop into your child's pose and maybe come back into your downward dog. Just finding any movements that feel good for your body here. Spreading the fingers wide, maybe circling the wrists. And then in your own time, start to find some stillness in your downward dog. So really think about spreading the fingertips wide. You want to try and imagine that you're pressing the base of every single fingertip down into the mat so that you're not gripping the mat. Let your head be heavy. From your downward dog, shuffle the weight forwards into a plank position. So coming into a high plank. From here, exhale, move straight back into your downward dog. We'll do this 3 more times. Inhale, bring the weight forwards, plank pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Try and get your chest a little bit closer towards the thighs. Inhale, last time, coming up, shoulders stack over the wrists, plank position. Exhale, send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Bend your knees a lot, and then start to walk the hands back towards the feet at the back of the mat in your ragdoll position. So let your head be heavy, let the hands relax. If it feels good, you can take hold of opposite elbow, maybe just start to rock from side to side here. Just really loosening the body, letting go of any tension in the back, the neck, the shoulders. If you want to, you can straighten one leg and the other leg. If you had crossed elbows, bring both hands down onto the mat and then walk forwards into your high plank position so the shoulders are stacked over the wrists. From here, we're going to drop down into a forearm plank, so dropping down one arm and then drop down the other. First plank of many. We're going to hold it here for about 45 seconds, so really try and stick with me. If you need to, you can drop the knees down here. Squeeze your bum. Keep your gaze towards the front of the mat to avoid that neck collapsing. Make sure you're breathing. Press the weight back through the heels if your knees are lifted. And round between the shoulder blades. So try not to let the shoulders scrunch up to the ears. Really press the forearms into the mat. Hollow out the belly. So this means draw the belly button back towards the spine. And you can start to round the spine here. So you're trying to lift that belly up. We've been here for about 30 seconds, so another 15. Try and stay with me. Keep breathing. We're here for another 10. Shaking is good. 5, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees down, untuck the toes. Let your hips sink down to the mat. Take an inhale, lift up the chest into your Sphinx position. Allow the shoulders to move away from the ears. Stretching that front body, stretching off that plank. As you exhale, bring the chest down towards the mat. Place the hands underneath the shoulder blades. Tuck the toes under. We're going to press up into our plank position. So option 1 is to keep the knees down and press up in one full stack. Option 2 is to do this with the knees lifted. Keeping that body stacked, pressing all the way up, plank, and then send the hips up and back, either into your downward facing dog, or knees come out wide, feet come together, chest comes down into your child's pose. We'll spend 5 breaths in this position, so make sure that you're in a position that you're comfortable with. If you're in your downward dog, your head is heavy, your shoulders are moving away from the ears. You really want to lengthen the spine. So if the back is rounded in your downward dog, just bend the knees and think about sending the chest back towards the thighs. You almost want to feel like you're trying to push your bum up towards the sky. From your child's pose, make your way into your downward dog. And then shuffle the weight forwards into a high plank position. We are going to be coming into a few planks and side planks tonight, so if at any point it gets too much on the wrists, drop down onto your forearms. In our high plank position, we're going to make a little plank matrix. You can drop the knees down if you need. Take an inhale, draw the right knee as close towards the right elbow as you can. As you exhale, sweep it across to the left elbow, or as close to that left elbow as you can. Exhale, right knee, right elbow, and then step it back. Plank position. Inhale, lift the left knee. Get that left knee as close towards the left elbow as you can. Exhale, take it across to the right. Inhale, step it across to the left. Exhale, step it back, plank position. One more time each side. Inhale, right knee, right elbow. Maybe getting it up to the armpit if it feels easy. Exhale, slide it across to the left. Inhale, back to the right. Exhale, step it back, plank. Last time, inhale, left knee lifts. Left knee, left elbow. Exhale to the right. Inhale to the left. See how close you can get it. Exhale, step it back, plank position. Drop the knees down. Hips and chest low down to the mat at the same time. We untuck the toes. Inhale, either coming into your Sphinx stretch or bringing the hands underneath the shoulders. Coming up into your upward facing dog. Whichever variation you're in, drive the shoulders away from the ears. Keep squeezing the bum. Exhale. Chest comes down towards the mat. Tucking the toes under, either keeping the knees on or off the mat. Press up through your plank position and then send the hips up and back, downward facing dog or child's pose. Finding your breath here. 5 deep breaths. So allowing the head to relax. If you're in your downward dog, see if you can start to draw the heels a little bit closer towards the floor. Don't worry if that is not possible. You can keep the knees bent and the heels lifted as long as you've got that straight spine. If you're in your child's position, make your way into your downward facing dog. Shuffle the weight forwards into your plank position. Option 1, drop both knees down. Option 2, keep both knees lifted. Lift up that right knee. Get that right knee as close to the right armpit, right elbow as you can. From here, we're going to sweep that right foot down to replace the right hand at the front of the mat. Use your right hand to guide it through as much as you need. Left knee drop, sweet inhale, bring the hands up overhead into your lunge position. So from here, you can either keep that left toe tucked or flatten that left foot. Really squeeze your bum. Shoulders are away from the ears. Belly button pulls back towards the spine, so make sure that you've got that core activation turned on. Here you want to square off the hip, so just start to pull that right hip back a little bit more. You can either keep that left knee down or tuck the back toes and lift that left knee off the mat. Take an inhale here. Exhale, forward fold, take the hands back behind you. Inhale, coming all the way up through to the center. Exhale, forward fold, take the hands back behind. 2 more, inhale, hands come up. Exhale, forward fold. Last time, inhale, hands come up. Really find your breath. Exhale, forward fold, bring the hands all the way back. This time as you inhale, bring the hands all the way up overhead. As you exhale, bend over that right leg, keep the arms up. We're going to take all of the weight into that right foot, lift up the left leg, warrior 3. Hands can either stay out in front or bring the hands to the hips. You can keep a micro bend in that right knee. Find something still to look at. Activate that left leg and flex that left foot. If you feel like you're wobbling, you can always grab hold of something or look at something still and try and focus on your breath. So try not to get distracted, really focusing on that controlled breath is going to help you balance here. Bend your right knee, slowly lower that left foot down. Inhale, bring the hands up overhead. As you exhale, both hands come down towards the mat, step the right foot back to meet the left foot, and then send the hips straight up, either downward dog or child's pose. We've got 5 breaths here. Spreading the fingertips wide. Find your breath, deep breaths. You should be feeling a little bit warmer, so see if you can start to slow that breath down, coming back to those full inhales and deep exhales. If you were in your child's position, bring your weight back into your downward facing dog. From your downward dog, shuffle the weight forwards, plank position. Lift up that left knee. Glide the left knee as close towards the left armpit, left elbow as you can, and then see if you can swing that left foot round to replace the left hand. If you need to use the hand to shuffle it forward, you are more than welcome. Drop that right knee down if you had it lifted. With an inhale, hands come up overhead. Either keeping that right toe tucked or the back of the foot comes flat down onto the mat, bending into that left knee. You should be able to feel the stretch in that right hip flexor. Make sure that you are squeezing your butt, sit bones tuck under, core is active, hips are square. So in this position, it's quite easy to let that right hip track backwards, but you want to make sure both hips are facing forward. Either keeping that right knee down or tuck the right toes, lift up that right leg. We inhale here. Exhale, take the hands back, lean forwards over that left leg. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, forward fold, folding over that left leg. Really tune in with your breath here. Use this time to connect with that breath. Inhale, coming up to center. Exhale, folding forwards over that left leg. Take those arms back. We've got one more round. Inhale, hands come up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, hands come back. Inhale, coming all the way up through centre, bring the hands up overhead. As you exhale, keeping the arms where they are, bending into that left knee even more. Take all of the weight into that left leg and then spring up. Warrior three, find your balance. Hands either out in front or hands on the hips. So activating that left leg. You can micro bend that left knee if it's tight on the hamstrings. Try not to let that right hip come up. Drive that right hip down. The right foot is flexed and our right leg is active. We are balancing by finding something still to look at. And breathe. Micro bend your left knee. Drop the right tiptoes down. We inhale, bring the hands up overhead. Exhale, both hands come down towards the mat. Step the left foot back to meet your right foot. Option to move straight back into your down dog or your child's pose. Or if you want to vinyasa, you can hips and chest lower down to the mat at the same time. Untuck the toes. Inhale, lift up the chest. Exhale, chest comes down towards the mat, tucking the toes. Lifting the hips up and back, either into your downward dog or coming into your plank. You're coming into your child's pose. No extra planks, we've got loads more of them to come. Find your breath wherever you are. So use this time to connect with the breath. It's going to get a little bit quicker. We're going to get a little bit more sweatier. So enjoy it now. If you were in your child's position, make your way back into your downward facing dog. From your downward dog, shuffle in the weight forwards, plank position, shoulders stack over wrists. Picking up the right foot, sweep that right foot through to replace the right hand at the front of the mat. This time, see if you can keep that left leg lifted. Press into the right foot, bring the hands all the way up and overhead. Inhale here. As you exhale, bending all the weight forwards into that right leg, we're going to take off into our warrior three, lifting up that left leg. Either keeping the hands out in front or bringing the hands to the hips. If you want an extra challenge, bend the left leg and see if you can catch that left foot behind your back. If you've got a strap and you want to use the strap, you can do. If you would rather stay upright rather than being in your warrior three to get this quad stretch, then you can do. Really squeeze the bum, sit bones tuck under. You'll only really benefit from this stretch if your glutes are engaged. Keep breathing, keep that core active. If you had hold of that left foot, just release the left foot, start to straighten that left leg back out. We're going to bend that right knee, left tiptoes come down to the mat. Inhale, hands come up overhead, lunge position. As you exhale, drop the left heel down, open up the arms to a T, warrior two. Shuffle the right foot across to the left so that your right heel is in line with your left toes. In this position, imagine that you're holding a glass of wine in both hands. So you really want to strengthen those arms so that the wine's not going to fall off. But the palms are facing down. Shoulders are away from the ears. Concentrate on that right hand as if there is a glass of wine there. Keep breathing, bending into that right knee. From here, turn the left thumb down. The left hand is going to come behind your back, so the very base of the spine, or walk it around a little bit further, like you're trying to catch hold of your right hip, your right thigh, or your t-shirt. Reach forward with that right arm, bend the right elbow, and place that right forearm onto the right thigh. Twist the left shoulder backwards, as if you're trying to shine a light from your chest up towards the sky. So you're really trying to twist that chest up towards the sky. Option one, stay here. Option two, if you want to have a go with the bind, then you can do by hooking your right arm underneath that right thigh and trying to catch hold of the hands behind your back. If you are working with that bind, you can use straps to get your hands a little bit closer. Just make sure that in doing this, it hasn't compensated your left shoulder, so you want to make sure that you can still twist that left shoulder up towards the sky. Take 3 breaths here. Really slow the breath down. I know that right leg hurts. On your next exhale, look down to that right foot. Inhale, coming up, warrior 2. The planks are going to start now. Windmill the hands down to frame that right foot. Left foot steps back to meet the left. Right foot steps back to meet the left at the back of the mat. High plank position. Hold it here. Squeeze your butt. Press the weight back through the heels. Make your feet a little bit wider so that they're as wide as the mat. And then drop both heels over to the right hand side. We're coming into our side plank. Option 1, drop the right knee down. Option 2, keep the feet as they are. Lift that left arm up. If this is too much on your wrists, you can drop down into a forearm plank here. So right forearm is down. To make this a little bit harder, left foot stacks on top of the right. To make this harder still, lift up that left leg. Lift up the hips. Shoulders are stacked over the wrists. We are breathing for 3, 2, and 1. Coming back into your plank position. Lift up the left knee. Drive the left knee as close towards the left armpit as you can, and then swing that left foot down. You can either keep the right knee lifted or drop the right knee down. Right hand presses into the mat. Lift the left arm up. Twisted lunge. Squeeze your right glute. To make this a little bit more on the thoracic spine, left fingertips can come to the left ear and then twist your chest up even higher. So you should really feel this getting into that upper back. Keep breathing. Deep breaths, full inhales, full exhales. On your next exhale, bring that left hand either onto the inside of the left leg or left forearm to left thigh. Reach the right arm up high. Again, there's the option here to bring the right fingertips to the right ear and then try and twist your elbow backwards like you're lifting your chest up towards the sky. Slow breaths. Right glute is engaged. Left glute is engaged also. Take 1 more full inhale. Exhale. Right hand comes down towards the mat. Left arm is on the inside of that left foot. Tuck the right toes. Lift that right knee and step the left foot back. Plank position. Hold it here, high plank. From here, walk your feet out a little bit wider and drop both heels over to the right. Side plank number 2, option 1, right knee comes down. Option 2, did I say option 2? Keep the feet exactly as they are. Lift up that left arm, lift up the hips. There is the option to come down onto that right forearm if it's a bit intense on the wrists. Okay, so we're going to make this one a bit harder. You can either stack the left foot on top of right, lift up the left leg. For an extra challenge, both feet come down towards the mat. We're going to try and lift up that right leg. Start by bending your right knee. Lift that foot up and try and catch that right knee. It's quite intense. If you're finding this easy, start to extend that right leg, lift up the left arm. Wherever you are, hold it here for 3, 2, and 1. Spin it back around, plank position, drop the knees down. Hips and chest lower down to the mat at the same time. Unjuggle the toes. Inhale, lift up the chest. Hold it here. So really stretching off that front body. Shoulders move away from the ears. Bring your chest back down towards the mat. We're going to take a couple of quad stretches here. So bend the left knee and catch hold of that left foot behind your back. If you can't quite reach that left foot, use your strap, use a towel, use a blanket, just hook it around that left foot. You can allow your head to relax onto that right hand. In this position, You need to make sure that you're squeezing your bum. You'll only benefit from a stretch here if you're really engaging your glutes. So imagine that you're trying to peel your belly off the mat. Tuck the sit bones under. This is really going to get into the psoas, left hip flexor, left quad. It's a good one if you've been sat down quite a lot, if you've been doing quite a lot of running or cycling. Slowly release that left foot. We'll swap sides. This time bending the right knee, catch hold of that right foot behind your back and just let the head relax onto that left arm. Again, make sure that you're squeezing the glutes, sit bones tuck under, and that will help you feel that stretch on that right side. Use this time to catch your breath. Slowly release that right foot down. Hands come underneath the shoulders. Tuck in the toes, either keeping the knees on or off the mat. Press up into your plank position. And then send the hips up and back, downward facing dog, or come straight into your child's position. We will take 5 breaths here before we move on to the other side. If you're feeling warm, exhale it out of the mouth. We're nearly done. We've just got one last side to do and then we can chill out. If you were in your child's position, make your way back into your downward facing dog. From your downward dog, shuffle all of the weight forwards, plank position. Left knee lifts. Sweep that left knee as close towards your left elbow, left armpit as you can, and then swing that left foot around to replace the left hand. Keep the right leg lifted. Press into that left foot, bring your hands up overhead. As you exhale, take all of the weight forwards into that left leg, coming straight up into your warrior 3 position. Hands can either stay up overhead or bring the hands onto the hips. Keep the legs active. Squeeze those quads. Flex the right foot. Check that your right hip hasn't started to lift and that that right hip is parallel to the mat. Option to bend that right knee and catch hold of that right foot behind your back. Either staying in your warrior 3 or coming up and take a standing thigh stretch. Again, make sure you're squeezing the bum. Core is active. Don't worry if you're falling. Everyone falls. Extra points for falling. Breathe. Core is active. If you were in this upright position, fold forwards into your warrior 3. Just start to extend that right foot back out. Bend the left knee. Take your time to drop the right tiptoes down onto the mat. Inhale, hands come up overhead, lunge position. Exhale, opening up the arms, warrior 2. Drop that right heel down, bending into that left knee. So check in that that left heel is parallel with the right toes and find your wind. Arms are active. You should be able to check that both hands are in one straight line. So if you were to bring your hands up overhead, they would meet and then you bring them back down. So there's not one in front of the other. They're both in the one straight line. From here, drop that right thumb down and bring the right hand into the base of the lower spine. If it feels easy, walk it over a little bit more, catching hold of your left hip, left thigh, anything you can grab. From here, we inhale, reach the left hand forward. As you exhale, bend the left elbow, left forearm comes to thigh. Twist your right shoulder backwards, open up the chest towards the sky. Option to come into that bind if you want to. Left arm hooks underneath the left thigh. Catch hold of your right hand behind your back. And then make sure that you are twisting that right shoulder backwards and you're not collapsing into that left leg. Breathe. I know it hurts, we're nearly done. It's the last bit of leg stuff anyway, I think. We'll stay here for another 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, look down to that left leg. Inhale, coming up, warrior 2. As you exhale, windmill both hands around to frame that left leg. Plank time, step the left foot back to meet your right foot at the back of the mat. Hold it here in your high plank. Walk the feet a little bit wider, so the feet are as wide as the mat, and drop both heels over to the left hand side. Side plank option 1, left knee comes down. Option 2, keep the feet as they are, reach that right arm up. Remember, you can come down onto your forearm whenever you need. To start making this a bit harder, you can stack the right foot on top of the left. That's going to test your balance. Or lift up that right leg. Lift up the hips. Left shoulder stacks over left wrist. Breathe for another 3. Shaking is good. 2 and 1. Swing it back around. Find your plank position. Pick up that right knee. Sweep the right knee as close towards the right armpit, right elbow as you can. And then see if you can drop that right foot down to replace the right hand at the front of the mat. Drop the left knee down or keep the left knee lifted. Left hand is flat onto the mat. We reach the right arm up. Twisted lunge. Squeeze your left butt cheek and your right one, but mainly your left one. Right fingertips option, come to the right ear, and then twist your right shoulder backwards as if you're trying to shine that beam out of your chest up towards the sky. Should feel this somewhere in the shoulders, maybe into the T-spine. You might not feel it anywhere apart from the legs. On your next exhale, right forearm can either come to the right thigh or right hand comes onto the inside of that right leg. Lift up the left arm, take your twist in the opposite direction. There is the option to keep the arm as it is or bend the left elbow, bring the left fingertips to that left ear. Keep twisting the chest up to the sky. Keep squeezing the butt. Breathe. On your next exhale, bring both hands flat down towards the mat. Right arm is on the inside of that right leg. Tuck the left toes. Step the right foot back. Plank position, it's the last one. Walk your feet a little bit wider than the mat. Drop both heels over to the left hand side. Side plank option 1, left knee comes down, open up that right arm. Option 2, keep the feet exactly as they are. Option 3, right foot stacks on top of the left. Option 4, hover that right foot. For an even harder option, both feet are flat on the mat. We then start to lift up that left knee and try and catch hold of the left knee with the right arm, pull it into your chest. From there, extend that left leg out, reach the right arm up, fallen star, lift up the hips. Wherever you are, breathe and hold it for 3, 2, hips up higher, 1, spin it around, plank position, drop the knees down, hips and chest low down to the mat at the same time, untuck the toes, inhale, lifting up the chest, and breathe here, shoulders move away from the ears. On your next exhale, bring the chest down towards the mat. Tuck in the toes, press the hips up through your plank position, and then we'll all meet in a child's pose, bringing the bum back towards the heels. Take the knees out wide, chest down towards the mat. Head relaxes either onto the forearms, or you can relax the head onto the mat. Oh, the hard bit's done. We can settle down now, we can chill. So use this time to get your breath, slowing it down. Just give yourself a body scan here. So just noticing how your body's feeling, whether it feels a bit warmer. Maybe you can feel your pulse somewhere. Hopefully you can. Just notice the quality of the breath. So if the breath started to speed up whilst we've got our heart rate up, just notice how quickly it recovers, how quickly you can bring it back down to that slow rhythm of breath. Noticing whether anywhere feels looser, anywhere might feel a little bit tighter, a little bit more energized, a little bit more lethargic. And then from your child's position, we'll make our way onto our spine. So walk the hands in towards the legs. Swing the legs around, coming onto your bum. We will roll down onto our backs slowly. Last little bit of ab work. So bend the knees, soles of the feet come flat onto the mat. Take your time to roll down, one vertebrae at a time. So the lower back is the last thing that meets the mat. Once you arrive on the floor, bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. We'll finish off with a couple of back bends just to stretch out all of the ab work, core work that we've been doing. So place the soles of the feet flat down onto the mat. Get them as close towards your glutes as you can. So you want to almost be able to feel the backs of the feet behind you with the fingertips. The feet want to be as wide as the hips. Take an inhale. As you exhale, press the feet into the mat, lift up the glutes, lift up the hips, lift up the bum. Keep your shoulders and your head exactly as they are. Imagine you're trying to draw your knees together. There is the option to make this a little bit more intense. Wiggle the shoulders underneath the back, interlace the fingers, and then press the ground away with the arms. Squeeze your bum. Keep the core active. It's quite difficult when we're in this position to engage the core, but try and tuck your sit bones under from here. So you're trying to point your bum forwards. We'll take one more full inhale and one more full exhale. Wiggle your shoulders out of the way, lowering down onto your spine. We're going to do that one more time. If you would like to have a bit more of a challenge, then you can come into the wheel position instead. You're more than welcome to stay with that glute bridge that we've just done. If you're coming into your wheel variation, bring the hands alongside the ears, the fingertips point back towards the shoulders. The feet stay exactly as they are. Wherever you are, take a full inhale. As you exhale, press the feet into the mat, press the hands into the mat if you're coming into your wheel. Try and lift up the chest, lift up the hips, lift up the glutes. If you're just having to play around with your wheel, then even just lifting your head up a tiny bit is enough to work on that strength that you need in the arms to be able to lift up your head. Wherever you are, take 5 breaths in your own time, and then start to make your way down when you've done all 5 breaths. To descend from your wheel, tuck the chin into the chest and land on your shoulders. So coming down from your wheel in your own time, we will just start to release that lower back. Rocking the knees from side to side. So windmill the knees to the left and then to the right. If there's any other movements you want to do, just to releasing that lower back. Release, loosen that lower back, then you can take those movements. We will finish with a couple of supine twists before we come into our Shavasana. So bring both knees into the chest. Drop both knees over to either the left side or the right side. Taking the arms out to a T position if that feels good, maybe cactus in the arms. You can keep the hands down by the side if that feels better. To make this stretch a little bit deeper, cross whichever leg you've got on top over whichever leg you've got on the bottom. Coming into this eagle wrap. Maybe closing the eyes. Completely slowing it down, relaxing the shoulders, letting go of anywhere that feels like it's gripping or it's tensing. So you don't need to squeeze your glutes, you don't need to squeeze your core. Just allowing the body to fully melt, completely heavy. Making your way back through center, bringing the knees into the chest and then rocking both legs over to the opposite side. Again, there's the option to cross whichever leg you had on top over the leg that was on the bottom, and just soften both knees down into the mat. Arms can either come out to a T shape, you can bring the arms out to a cactus shape, or you can bring the hands down by the side. Just wherever feels most natural for you. You can close the eyes here if you wish. Maybe just softening the gaze. And just allowing the body to completely melt into the mat. Allowing the shoulders to relax. letting go of any gripping, relaxing the hips, relaxing the legs. It's a completely passive stretch. Slowly bring both knees back into the centre. We will make our way from here into our Shavasana. If there's any other stretches that you want to do before your Shavasana, you're more than welcome. If you'd rather take a seated pranayama practice like we did at the beginning, you're also more than welcome to do that as well. Grab any extra layers, any extra props that you want to use for your Shavasana. And then we will take our final relaxation pose. Legs can either be out long, or you can bend the knees, have the soles of the feet flatten to the mat, and just let the legs collapse in towards each other. Hands can either stay down by the side of the body, you can have the hands on the belly, you can have one hand on the heart or one hand on the chest. Just find a position that is most comfortable for you. We're going to stay here for about 3 minutes. If you want to take a longer Shavasana, if you've got time to take 10-15 minute Shavasana, then just pause the video and do your Shavasana in your own time. If you are staying with me, then take a full inhale in through the nose. Exhaling it out through the mouth. Do that as many times as you need. Closing the eyes or softening the gaze if you haven't done already. Allow the body to be completely heavy. Relax the face. Soften the jaw. Relax the forehead. Let the shoulders drop into the mat. Just using this time to be completely still. If you'd like to stay here any longer, then just pause the video. If you're ready to wake up, get out of your Shavasana, start to make micro movements, wiggle fingers, wiggle toes. take yourself into a long pencil stretch. Draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug. Rock onto either the left side or the right side, making your way up in any fashion into a seated position. Keeping the eyes closed or the gaze soft. Sit up nice and tall. Lengthen through the spine. Bring the hands together at the heart center. Bow your chin down to your chest. Thank yourself for taking an hour out of your Wednesday evening to come and practice. I hope you have a wonderful rest of week. Hope you can enjoy the sunshine. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste. Thank you guys. Sorry about the dodgy start. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you've got any questions, and I will see you next week.